Yes, I buy everything with my credit cards right here nang hindi nababaon sa utang. And let me tell you, as a former gastadora myself, I've achieved my first million pesos net worth today with credit cards. So let me tell you how millionaires use credit cards wisely. You don't have to be scared that credit cards will rack up debts when you maximize these 5 benefits that I love using my credit cards for. So let's dive into it. First is convert your points into bill deductions. It's been said many times that you can get points from using your credit cards. That's why I use my credit cards for almost everything that I spend on every month. But para saan ba yung points in the first place? And for me, I like something tangible that I use my points for. Because the reality is, yes, maganda yung mga discounts, maganda yung mga promos or like extra freebies that you get from restaurants or like retail stores. But for me, I don't care about all those things. Like those are bonuses. For me, I want to use my points to subtract the amount that I pay for in my bill. For example, if the total amount due in my credit card statement is 30,000 pesos, I didn't pay 30,000. I paid 26,000 lang because I converted my points into 4,000 pesos. That's the major perk that I get using my BPI Platinum Rewards card right here. So what I love is that I get to earn more points with every amount that I spend using my Platinum card. And how it works is that they convert your points into shopping credits. So ultimately, shopping credits na yun is basically convertible na to cash that will be deducted from your bill. So for example, BPI's conversion points is that your 20,000 points is equal to 1,000 shopping credits. So if you have 60,000 points that you have accumulated from using your credit cards, you can convert that into shopping credits worth 3,000 pesos, and that 3,000 can be deducted from your bill. Essentially, using my credit card more allows me to save more. So why in the world will I not use my credit card, right? So how I convert my points to bill deductions is first checking how much points I have, and I do that through the Vibe app by BPI. So I find out how many points I have there, and then if I want to convert it already, then I just call the BPI hotline to let them know like I want to convert my points na into shopping credits, and then they just do that during the call, and then maybe like few working days, like maybe 3 to 5 working days, and then it already shows up in the BPI app that it has been deducted from my bill. The next benefit I love using my BPI Platinum Rewards card for is this perk where you get 6 months installment with 0% interest on flights. So every flight that I book can be deferred into 6 monthly installments without any interest. I've used it so many times, like last year when I booked our flights to New York with my husband, and then this year I've used it twice already for my flight to Bali for my 30th birthday that I'm having, a solo trip that I'm excited about, and then also when we booked our flights to Sapporo, Japan for our December trip with my husband also. So what I love about this is that I could technically pay for it in full, like it's fine. It's just that when I'm able to have this flight payment deferred, I'm able to slowly get the amount from my savings without taking a huge chunk from my savings agad. So what's good about that is first, I don't lose out on interest from my savings that are placed in high interest digital banks. So for example, I have my travel fund in Tonic or in Maya. So when I leave it there, it just earns interest, right? So when I don't take a huge chunk of my savings agad to pay on flights, and it just a huge chunk of it retains in the digital bank, I still continuously get to earn passive income interest from my savings. So when I defer my flight payments to 6 months, I still have a huge chunk of my savings in digital banks that earn me interest. So again, using my credit cards more allows me to save more. By the way, that perk is exclusive to BPI Platinum Rewards card, so that's why I love this card so much. Like, I am not letting go of this card because of that perk alone. Like, where else do you get 6 months installment with 0% interest on the flight that you just booked? And I love that they made it so easy now to create that installment plan, because when I booked my flight to Sapporo through the Cebu Pacific website, after that, they notified me via text like, hey, you booked this flight, and then do you want to convert it to 6 months? And then it leads me to the BPay app. I just click on it. It leads me to a website link and just tells me like, do you want it 3 months? Do you want it 6 months installment? And just click on the button. Like, I love it so much because before, I used to go to the BPI branch pa to do the 6 months installment, but now they've made it so much easier to create that deferred payment for 6 months. And it's just like literally a few clicks on the BPI website. Third benefit why I buy everything with credit cards is it has allowed me to build a sustainable financial system. Yes, like you'd think na, di ba pag nag-credit card ka, baka you don't control it and then you end up overspending, you end up living paycheck to paycheck, baka masyado kang mapagastos kasi ang laki ng limit mo and so on. But no, it's actually the complete opposite. Credit cards allow me to track my expenses better because I use my credit cards for almost everything that I spend on, and I can easily see them on the app. For example, I use my Metrobank Platinum credit card here for groceries and essentials like medicines, toiletries, things like that. And it's so easy to like know, okay, like saan na ba nagastos yung pera ko through the Metrobank app. Like the transactions appear in real time, like literally seconds or like a minute after I swipe this card in the groceries, lalabas siya agad sa Metrobank app. And so it allows me to know, okay, how much have I spent so far on my credit card? Am I at par? Am I on track with the budget or limit that I've set for myself with this credit card, so that I'd know, okay, like, is this a purchase I need to make now, or maybe I could delay that in the next billing cycle. So this is why I say, like, you don't need a budgeting app. You don't need a separate budgeting app if you use credit cards. You could literally use the apps of these banks as like a budgeting app because you could easily track your expenses there in real time. I don't have to manually jot down na this is how much I spent on groceries, this is how much I spent on deodorant, or how much I spent for my cat's food. Speaking of, kailangan ng cameo of my cute cha-cha-cha. Oh, ayan. Napansin siya. So, cat food. Yeah, like I don't have to manually like write down this how much I spent on wet food, on dry food, on whatever it is, like because it's all in the app already. I don't need to manually jot down every single expense. And this is why I buy everything with my credit cards. As a money mindset coach, I love guiding my clients to incorporate credit cards in their financial system so that it becomes more sustainable and easier to stick to in the long run. Like you'd think na, okay, baka kailangan avoid ko yung credit cards para hindi ako magkautang, hindi ako mapagastos, kailangan ko ma-restrict yung sarili ko. No. Like if you want a sustainable financial system, you want to create that balance of, hey, I can enjoy, and at the same time, I know my limits, and at the same time, I know how much I'm saving for my future as well. And that's why it's so powerful to have credit cards as tools for you to build sustainable money habits. When I coach my clients, I love empowering them to use credit cards when it is the right time for them. Based on all my learnings from having a corporate salary to managing my business income, I've created a 15-minute sustainable financial system that I guide my clients with that will ease them in to incorporating credit cards into their monthly budgeting. I love it when my clients tell me like, I used to be so scared of applying for a credit card or having a credit card because baka magkautang ako, to now being able to be empowered to use their credit cards and seeing that, hey, like I trust myself to use my credit card because it's just a tool. I know how to spend mindfully. I know how to enjoy my fruits of my labor without compromising my future financial goals. There's this misconception that, hey, I just need to use cash or I just need to use my debit card so that I can limit my budget kasi at least yung cash na nakita ko, yun lang gagastusin ko. But no, like that creates this subconscious mindset in your head that you cannot be trusted with like money in the future or like having a credit card or managing your money in the future. Because if you want a sustainable financial system, doing everything with cash is not it. Like using your debit card also, I do not recommend to use for most of your expenses, which I will talk about in a bit why. And so I love empowering my clients in creating a sustainable financial system that is easy to do, that doesn't take so much time, that only takes them 15 minutes twice a month to do, and how they could incorporate credit cards into their financial system that empowers them to spend, not making them feel guilty about every purchase that they make and micromanaging every expense, tracking every expense so that they have to be disciplined and restrict themselves. No. I teach my clients to incorporate credit cards into a sustainable financial system so that they know that they won't end up racking up debt. Instead, they know that it will be used to their advantage. Because also there's this misconception that there's this best credit card out there that will allow you to get the most points and the most benefits, but that's not the case. Like for me, what works is having my BPI and Metrobank credit cards, but I don't impose that on my clients. I think about it as like what would make it easier for you to pay for your cards and which credit card would really fit into your lifestyle, into your needs, into your preferences. And this is why it's so important to have a personalized financial audit, a personalized financial system so that you don't end up just following what everyone else is saying on YouTube, on TikTok. And that's someone from me, like I am on those platforms also, but it's so different when it's tailored, customized, personalized to your needs and goals. If you're curious on how I help my clients in building sustainable money habits and systems in the first 60 days of working with me and how you can be empowered in using a credit card in building those habits, you can check out my website below on how you can work with me as your coach. You can visit my website coachingwithnick.com. Or if you're in the place of like, I have credit cards, but now I'm in debt because of those credit cards and you want to be free of them, you can check my website on how I've helped clients become free of those debts and stay debt free. And also in my next YouTube video upload, I will dive into how you can be debt free in 3 steps. So make sure you subscribe to my channel and watch out for that next video upload. You can also watch these 2 videos right here of my clients whom I've interviewed and helped through clearing their debts and now able to balance enjoying their life, clearing their debts, living their life to the fullest, and saving consistently. Like watch these 2 videos, you're gonna be so inspired. Every single client of mine who watched that, they were like, oh my gosh, may pag-asa pa ako, hindi ako hopeless because of my debts. Like it's also possible for me to clear them off and also still enjoy life and not feel drained by these debts. So check out those client interviews because you could be next. 4th benefit on why I love using credit cards for everything is that it's safer for online purchases. And this is connected to why I said that I don't recommend using debit cards for any of your purchases. Only use debit cards when you need to withdraw cash, that's it. But you don't use debit cards for like paying for anything, especially online. For the reason that if your debit card gets hacked, it's easy for someone to immediately like penetrate, napaka deep word, to penetrate into your account to get your money agad. So for example, if they get your OTP, they hack into your account, they immediately get your money there because your debit account is connected to like your accounts in the app, things like that. Versus if your credit card gets compromised, you can immediately block that card and then get a new card. Pero they won't get access to like your other bank accounts because your credit card got hacked. So a little story time. I shared in my TikTok how I almost got scammed, and I was so thankful then that I used my credit card that was compromised instead of my debit card. If you wanna get the tea on how I almost got scammed, I'll link that video here. But ultimately, like, I put in my details into a compromised website and I used my credit card for that. And so when it was asked for the OTP and the person, this hacker probably got the OTP, they could have used my credit card already. But instead of that happening, I was able to like call my bank and like block the card agad and get a new card. Versus if I used my debit card with my details there, they could have easily hacked into like the rest of my savings accounts, the rest of my bank accounts, and that's scary. So essentially, when your credit card gets hacked and if someone ends up using it, that's the bank's money, not your money. But if your debit card gets hacked, that's your money that will be taken from you. So basically, it's a win-win. Like if ever you get hacked, that's not gonna be your money when you use your credit card. It's gonna be the bank's money. And so it's easier for them to really investigate that and make sure that you don't get charged for it versus nagamit na yung pera mo sa debit card and you have to like plead to them and beg them for them to refund you that amount. I use my credit cards for all of my online purchases, may it be Shopee, Lazada, Grab, Foodpanda, booking flights, all of those things, I use my credit cards for them. So ultimately, using my credit cards more gives me more peace of mind. 5th, an important benefit that people overlook on why it's important to use credit cards is that it also will allow you to get easier approval for future loans. when they see that you're a good payer of your credit card bill, in the future that you ask for a home loan or a personal loan for a business, like those important things, or like car loan, like they want to look at, magaling ka bang magbayad? Papahiramin ba kita ng pera? May history ka ba na magaling ka magbayad? Na magaling ka magbayad ng utang ultimately? And having a credit card history would easily like tell them na okay, gumagamit to ng credit card, nakapagbayad to on time, wala siyang utang, or kung may utang, nabayaran niya yung utang niya, wala nang problema. I'm actually applying for a home loan in the near future, and it gives me confidence that if they look at my credit history, if they look at my credit score, like I am good. Like they know that I'm a good payer because I've had years and years of using my credit card. Here's a little tea from my husband who works in the real estate industry, and he also worked in like the home loans banking industry. And then he also shared with me that when someone is applying for a loan, they look at your credit history. Like that's one of the things that would give you like the go signal or the rejection of that loan. And so now you're thinking, bakit ko gusto mangutang in the future? Bakit gusto ko mangutang for a home loan, a car loan, things like that? It's up to you. But for me, for example, I've talked about it in the past video I had about good debt versus bad debt, on why home loans are good debts. So if you want to learn more about that, check that out. But ultimately, it's about having the confidence that I will be able to pay for the monthly payments of our bigger property in the near future, and I wouldn't be able to drop like millions of money right away to pay for the remainder of our property balance. And so doing the home loan from the bank would allow us to ease into that payments, and also I know that I would get easier approval because I have a good credit standing from using my credit cards. So now at this point, you're like, okay, Nick, gets ko na. Like, it's really beneficial and advantageous to use my credit card if I know how to use it wisely, if I can maximize these benefits. But how do I make sure I'm ready to get a credit card? Because guys, yung point ng credit card is not to get credit cards from all of the banks in the world. Okay, like that's like, let's put that out there. Like some people, they brag about like having 10 credit cards or more, but like for me, it's not about how much credit cards you have, it's how well you manage those credit cards. Like for me, I started with one, and then now I have two, and that's it. I am happy. I don't see myself adding another one in the future. Because again, if your credit cards already allow you to have a sustainable financial system, allows you to build sustainable money habits, then that's it. Like that's the end goal. Okay, like for me, recently nga nagkaroon na naman ako ng approval, isa pang credit card, because for some reason, if you put your name out there in like an application, it kind of like spreads to other banks, and it's easier to get like other credit cards in the future. So that's a good thing, but at the same time, like I don't want to keep hoarding credit cards just because I'm approved of them, or like that I have them. So I really take into consideration like how can these credit cards really fit into a sustainable financial system, instead of overwhelm me on like how am I gonna use them, when am I gonna use them, and so on. Because ultimately, if you have so many credit cards, hindi magra-rack up yung points. Like for me, if you have like 5 credit cards from 5 different banks, like your points are gonna be spread out. And so if it's spread out, you won't be able to maximize the bill deductions, for example. And for me, that's why I use BPI for majority of my expenses, because that's where I want to get the most bill deductions. So it's really for you to think about before you get a credit card, is being intentional about how it will fit into a sustainable financial system. And in order for you to have a sustainable financial system, it boils down to doing these 2 things. First is that you have mastered sticking to your budgets, and second, you know your limit for spending. Because the mistake that Filipinos make with their credit cards is like, oh, it's fun, I can get points, I can get cash back, and so on. But then if you don't know how to spend mindfully, if you are an impulsive buyer, if you're an overgiver, if you just spend and spend without realizing you've spent on unnecessary things, walang kwenta yung points. Walang kwenta yung cashback kasi ikaw yung nalugi in the end, because you end up living paycheck to paycheck. So, that's me giving you tough love, okay? So that before you get a credit card, make sure that you have mastered sticking to your budget first, so that when you get the credit card, alam mo na rin yung max limit na gagastusin mo lang sa credit card. So, for example, just because your credit card limit is like 50,000, doesn't mean yun din gagastusin mo. Diba? So, how much of your budget do you really want to dedicate to using your credit card? So, in order for you to know that, in order for you to have confidence in that, na hindi ka mag-overspend, na hindi ka mag-over budget, you need to start doing that without a credit card first. And if you haven't yet, that means hindi ka pa ready to have a credit card. Kasi if overwhelmed ka na without a credit card with managing your finances, you're gonna be more overwhelmed when you add another variable into the mix, which is the credit card. So if you want to learn the fundamentals, the importance of building sustainable money habits as the foundational skill that you need to have, you can watch my free training right now where I dive into the 3-step roadmap that allowed me to achieve my first ₱1,000,000 coming from a former gastador shopaholic myself in the past. So that's where I detail into like how important it is for you to master the fundamentals of spending mindfully, of saving consistently, because those become the foundation that would give you confidence that I'm ready for a credit card, that I will be able to not rack up debt, that I will be able to balance enjoying the perks of this credit card where I'm able to use it more and allow me to save more, right? So watch my free training where I dive into how you can be financially free with one income stream, so that you know that, okay, once I am able to maximize my one income stream with the proper habits, I would be ready to incorporate a credit card into my financial system. So make sure you sign up for my free training right now and watch it. After watching this YouTube video, it will be delivered straight to your inbox. You also get inspired by so many client success stories in that free training, those who have been able to clear their credit card debts, those who are empowered to use their credit cards to their advantage, those who have been able to build a sustainable financial system that only takes them 15 minutes twice a month to do with or without a credit card. So check out that free training. You're going to be so inspired with all of the insights. And again, check out this video of my client interview whom I helped in clearing off his debts, now able to balance enjoying his life to the fullest while saving consistently. So check that out and I will see you there.